Rescue teams in Los Angeles pulled off a high-stakes miracle, saving 31 workers trapped deep underground after a tunnel collapse. With no easy way out and soil blocking their path, firefighters raced against time to bring everyone back safely. No injuries reported, but the panic was real. This was one of the most intense underground emergencies the city has faced in years. Check out some of this video footage.
Good evening, I'm Cher Calvin.
And I'm Rick Chambers. Micah has this night off. We want to begin with that breaking news in Wilmington, where dozens of workers have been rescued after being trapped in an underground tunnel that had collapsed.
Gil Avis is overhead in Sky 5. Gil?
Sharon, Rick, you're looking at the 1700 block of North Figueroa. The cross street here is Lomita Boulevard. It was LA City Fire that responded to this major rescue at just before 8 o'clock tonight. As I zoom in, you're going to see a giant hole in the ground. This is where those tunnel workers went down to start their work day. The depth of the distance that they went down is unclear. Could be 300 to 400 feet down, but also horizontally 5 to 6 miles away from this access point, I should say. That's where the workers were working when there was a sudden collapse of a 18-foot diameter tunnel that they were working in. Its use would be for wastewater management in the future, but they were down there working their job when all of a sudden that tunnel collapsed on them. Now I can tell you that those workers made their way across a 12 to 15 foot tall pile of loose soil to get to freedom. The other workers that were down there that were not trapped on the other side of the collapse, they were able to shuttle those workers the distance of at least 5 miles, possibly 6 miles to this access point where they were lifted by this capsule. As I zoom in here, you can see that rescue capsule there on the ground. 8 at a time were brought up from the hole and brought up to the surface. That took a process of about 10 minutes to get them shuttled from the collapse to the access point here and on the ground. But I can tell you that 31 workers were trapped and 31 workers were rescued tonight by the LA City Fire Department. 100 plus firefighters on scene along with their urban search and rescue teams that went down there to help and assist in that effort to rescue all those people. They were brought up to the surface. They've been evaluated here by the fire department and all are safe and accounted for, and they all are in good condition. It doesn't sound like there's going to be any transports to a hospital, so they were, we did see the group hugging each other, giving each other high fives and handshakes as they all made it up to the surface. A total of 31 tunnel workers here that survived that collapse and survived safely were brought to the surface. The collapse happening 5 miles away from this scene and possibly as deep as 300 or 400 feet down in the ground. You can see some of the workers here along with the firefighters here that have been evaluating those workers, but they're glad to be on solid ground, above ground, and we did see a lot of them giving hugs. But at this point, the rescue effort is done. All 31 are safe, and the LA City Fire doing a great job. It was a huge response by the fire department and police personnel here to this large industrial scene. But again, a successful rescue of 31 trapped tunnel workers here in the Wilmington area. That's the latest overhead up in Sky 5. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Yeah, that is some great news and some good fortune for sure. And
Rick, Cher, as Gil was mentioning, 31 people were initially trapped underground around mile 5, 200 feet below the ground in an industrial tunnel. We don't know what caused this collapse or the nature of this collapse. What you're seeing here on the ground behind us is a large fire presence here behind us on Q Street in Wilmington. Mayor Bass is on the scene. Chief Jim McDonnell also on the scene. They're not yet speaking to media because they themselves haven't yet been briefed. It does not appear as though anyone was injured. This is a construction site owned by LA County. It's a new infrastructure project called the Clearwater Tunnel Project. The county is building a large wastewater treatment plant here, and people became trapped in a connecting tunnel of sorts, we're told. There are more than 100 LA Fire search and rescue team members, specially trained and equipped to handle confined spaces and tunnel rescues. I spoke to a woman whose friend was trapped inside. She said it was terrifying not knowing what was going on, whether or not he was hurt, but thankfully within the last hour he emerged and called his wife, said he was okay. We also heard from a public information officer a couple of minutes ago. Listen.
We don't have any information about the nature of the collapse yet. What I just got a report on is that 31 crew members were down in the tunnel. They have all been extricated safely. There are no significant or major injuries that I know of. There have none been reported yet, but we understand that our crew that was working down in the tunnel boring machine, which is approximately 5 miles heading towards the coast from this point. And it was designed to build a tunnel about 7 miles long before it reached the coast. So we understand the collapse may have happened somewhere around the 5-mile mark. We do not know the reason. We do not know the cause. It's too early for that. We're not going to speculate.
How far?
Yes, he's our good friend. He's like family to us. Well, he's safe now. We found out that he was safe, but yeah, when we found it on Citizens app, we didn't even know what was going on, and it said the tunnel had collapsed. So I called his wife, and we rushed out here, and we didn't find out anything other than from the news.
How did you find out that he was safe?
He finally made a phone call.
What was he doing in the tunnel?
Well, he works in there, so he works nights, so he was in there, and I don't know. I mean, we don't know any more details other than he's okay. So,
can you tell me what was going through your mind when you found out there was a collapse inside the tunnel?
Just panic, because I mean, we've talked about it before, and he's like, talked to his wife and told her, if the tunnel collapses, I'm gonna die. So I mean, we were just freaking out, and so by the time we got here, she was panicking, and the police were trying to calm her down, and then we were just trying to find out from the police officers any information. Nobody had any. And finally, we got a phone call. They seen on the news that they found him and that they were getting him out, one at a time.
And he called. He called his wife.
Yes, he called, and he told her he was okay. So
that must have been a huge relief.
Yes, it was. It was, because we didn't know what else to think. Being trapped in a tunnel. I mean, you're thinking, they're going to lose oxygen. They've been in there for a while.
And you're looking at the hundreds of LA County search and rescue teams on scene. Luckily, all 31 people who were trapped inside this industrial tunnel have been rescued. We're told that there are no major injuries. Family members out here tonight say it is a huge sigh of relief to learn that everyone is okay. Once again, we don't know what caused this collapse. It's very early on. It's kind of a fluid situation out here. We're going to get a second briefing from one of the public information officers on scene, but it's information that they continue to collect. They're still trying to learn what exactly caused this to happen in the first place. Rick, back to you.
All right, Rachel, we thank you for that.
This is No Filter News. Truth served raw, bold, and uncut. Hit that sub, stay loud, and catch us on the next drop. We don't fade out. We level up.